Clientèle is a direct distributor of life insurance, hospital cover and legal cover products with a market cap of 3.7 billion rand. Clientèle has also been rated in the top 50 companies for sustainable growth and return on shareholders' interest on the JSE. It has a price to earnings ratio of 15 and a dividend yield of 6%. Paul.
Interesting one, and has had very little attention, but has quietly kind of broken onto the scene and achieved a certain value. It's part of the Eindhoven family interests. So Hollard, Clientèle, Capricorn, Nando's, Piere Wine Estate, you know, a very wealthy and powerful South African family, the Eindhovens. They own nearly 80% of Clientèle. So it's of limited tradability, but it has improved a bit since it started doing so well, and it's had rising earnings for the last 5 years without taking a breath, and the market loves that. So a growing player in the sort of bottom-end funeral and health and legal cover, you know, that sort of thing, like I'll get a lawyer, people like that, cheap premiums but very profitable.
So a growing little company, would you be getting into it right now?
It is very profitable. It's got the highest return on embedded value. The embedded value is around 10 Rand a share, so trading at a slight premium. It is the most profitable of these life insurance companies, so from that perspective, it is hot, yes.
Some of the risks are faced by a Clientèle or going forward. Do you see any risks for this company?
No, not really. I think they're well protected, so they've got substantial reach in terms of the group expertise. You know, the executives, you can see they pop up, you know, from one group company to the next. Adrian Eindhoven, who's Dick's son, who's like 30 years old and spends most of his time riding his mountain bike, is on the board. But, you know, that's fine. I think they're going to continue to do well, and they've also got good partners inside of that group structure to manage the asset flows that are generated from the insurance operation. So we've seen this as a hallmark of the Hollard Group. They're extremely good at doing partnerships, joint ventures and arrangements. The next thing you find, they're selling funeral policies through Kaiser Chiefs, and then on the other side of the road, they're doing the same thing with Orlando Pirates. So you can't fault them for their entrepreneurial flair. So I think this one will probably do well, and it is a growth player. So I don't know, maybe it's one that one ought to look at if you like the sector.
So like Paul, he doesn't see any risks. Do you perhaps see any risks for this one, Jean-Pierre?
Yes, I think there's increased scrutiny at the lower end for the type of commissions that are paid and the type of incentives for people to take up life insurance. So I think in this case, Clientèle needs to manage that quite carefully. But notwithstanding that, still very profitable, good management, so I like it.
So hot or not, Clientèle?
I would say hot, yes.
Paul, hot or not?
Well, I'm quite tempted, but my thoughts when, you know, preparing for the show tonight was that I don't like any of the companies in this sector because I don't like the sector. That's not the kind of investment I'm looking for. I would rather go out and find the attractive investments in the industrial and the telecoms and the mining and all the other sectors that we like, and leave the complicated financial engineering to these guys. Someone else can own them. So not hot.
Two not hots on Clientèle.